Any questions on that application?
I've seen some designers actually able to get hatch patterns when you're looking down 2D onto pergola, and they've got the hash patterns between the 2x8s on the pergola. Is there a fast way of doing that?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's structures. I'm gonna increase the size of this just so that you can see it really easily. Okay. So you're looking at this one, and this sort of the same concept would be here, right? So what we're going to do is explode this, and then we're going to put something that looks like a wood pattern in here. Let me see if I can find something. I've never done this before, so. But this is the way I would approach it. Well, let's just try something. For instance, let's say we use this one. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to make this apparent. Think in terms of this being looking like wood, right? So this would be and you can actually create your own hash patterns too, by the way. So on the linear ones where it's running this way, I'm gonna oops, sorry about that. I need to go to this tool. And I need to go back and do that again. I'll choose this one. So this one would look like this, right? And let's see if I can make this, scale this down, 0.3, 0.2. So it's going to look like wood here. And then I'm going to run 90 degrees the other way. If this was a wood pattern, right? All I need to do is come in here and just click inside. It finds those areas, right? You with me on that? That's probably the way I would do it.
Yeah, it's not what I meant, but it's actually I'm glad you showed me that, because that's actually not a bad thing. But what I meant was, if you were to drag on there a 12 by 14 pergola onto your drawing, and you notice when the pergola is what I'm trying to get is like the paper pattern around the pergola and then inside the pergola. So in between those little holes, like even if you have this privacy screen there, the idea is to get it inside those holes. Yeah. In here? Yeah. What would you like to put in there? Like say if you're doing paper patterns all the way around that, and you want them to go inside there as well. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, in this case, it's not that big of a deal because it's a privacy wall, or it's a screen. Yeah. If you're doing a 12 by 14 patio, right, and you want that. Yeah. No, you could do that. Yeah, it could be done. And then you've got a pattern that goes over the top of this, right? Let's say. See the pergola, the 12 by 14 pergola there. Oops. 12 by 14. Let me see. A little further down, right there. A little further down. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. So if you put that, like say, on a 20 by 20 patio. Let's try that. Oh, I scaled that up. Sorry about that. Come on. And you put that on what? You put that on, say, on a 12 by or a 20 by 40 patio or whatever, and you want to draw your patch pattern around the whole on the whole patio, and in between the little lines in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're going to approach it the exact same way. What you're going to do is you're going to explode this, right? And then you're going to connect it to the outside. So let's see.
make it just this way. I think this will work. You might want to put these in a particular place here, which is it should find this place anyway. Let me see. Well, it doesn't look like I'm able to get it to work, but
is that a broken line, the pattern line, or does it matter?
no, this is, I mean, the pattern line's fine. It's a continuous line. Kind of wondering what the characteristics are of these guys that make this so it can't find it. It's not finding anything. There must be some things about these guys here that are not connected at the corners or something. When you have an overlapping line like this, that's not going to work. Well, the inside works fine.
Yeah, so I think if the inside works, what you can do is maybe do your outside, then explode the pergola, and then do the inside.
Yeah, I'm not sure why all these pieces are not. Let me just try one more thing here. Yeah, I experiment, but that's basically what you're going to be doing. It looks like it works with little pieces like this. Why it doesn't work necessarily with just try one more thing here. Just continue to expand this area, right? So it's actually finding what I was asking it to do before. It may be, the only thing I can guess is that it may be that it's just too big an area, right? So sometimes what you have to do is kind of make these areas so that the amount of math is the same. Just a matter of doing less math at one time to find all these areas. Right? So all I did was just make this larger and larger, right? Until I get to the point where this apparently is just too large for it to find. Yeah. Anyway, I think you can. I know you can make it happen, and that would be the procedure you want to use too. Okay. Also, if you have a little place like this, just one more example where you have the things that are separate from the edge. notice how these chairs are separate from the table? So once I explode it, what I have to do is connect all these pieces together. So all the chairs, right, have to be connected together. And so what I'm going to do is just go like this first. And then I can go like this. All the chairs have to be connected to the outside. And finally I can do this. And do that. Okay, so all you need to do is have this be able to find all these different areas here. Okay, when they're separated, so everything has to tie to the outside, or it has to create lines that the software can locate. Okay, let's take a look now at so we got better methods for hatching. Let's take a look at an insided polygon. So the polyline tool has this insided polygon tool available, and so you can see how you can do a three-sided polygon. So by just or an equilateral triangle, and you can go to like a 4, right, which would be a square, and then a 5. And I remember doing a 5-sided gazebo one time for a client. It was a bit challenging. And then you can go to a 6-sided, right? And 7, and then 8. So when you're creating things like this, what you probably want to do is determine its size. Right? So the radius on 8-sided would not be probably the thing to designate, but its chord. So that would be the length of these sides on the outside. So if you want to do an 8-sided octagon with a 6-foot chord, this is what that would look like. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of these guys. Oops. So this is a 8-sided figure, and if we take and just connect these vertexes together, right? So on a polygon like this, basically a polyline, all the corners are going to be vertexes except one, which is going to be the starting place or the end. Okay, so we've connected all these together. Say we wanted to create an 8-sided gazebo here, and so I'm going to do just a copy offset here real quick of this outside edge. So 2 inches will give this a better look around the outside. And then we're going to hatch the center. Okay, so but the scaling tool, another scaling tool is another tool that I think is really important for you to learn and use. It has a lot of applications. Say I wanted to create like a finial or a couple on top here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to scale one of these down, say to 10% of its original size, much like what you'd see here. And so that's a scaling factor of 0.1, which would be 10% of the original. And then we're going to go ahead and use the same technique for inserting hatches, right? I'm going to go and let's see, let's go to the shake roofs on top here. And then it's just going to find the edges. I'll just find the edge here, and it puts that hatch pattern in there. Right. And it may be that let me see, that's probably okay. Yeah, it's probably okay. Although sometimes it depends on the scale you're drawing, and so you might want to just scale this up just a little bit, 0.45 maybe, so that when you zoom out, it's not so intense, and it just looks kind of like a blob, and you actually see the texture that's created by those shingles or those shake. Now, what we can do is we can rotate this around. So rotate, 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 do one of these in each of these sides here. Okay? That's kind of like the hard way to do it. And the easy way to do it would be to take and use this tool, okay, which is rotating a certain count around an angle. We're using an angle. Okay, so we've got eight things here. And so if I take 360 and divide it by 8, I got 45 degrees. Okay, so each one of these quadrants represents 45 degrees. And the count, I want 8 total. I've already got 1, so I need 7 more. Okay, and I left-click this and right-click. What it does is it duplicates all those patterns in exactly in the 45-degree angle and the count number that I've designated here. So now I've got the top of this gazebo. Okay, which actually is kind of fun to do. There's quite a few applications where I'm going to show you in a few minutes just a few more applications of just using this tool, right? But we might go to some more detail up here on top. So here we might want to use a more intense little pattern. It doesn't really matter necessarily what it is. Let's say 0.1. But I just want to fill this in, right, so that when you look at it, it's just a little bit different pattern on top. Could be a different material. It could be the same material, only just much smaller scale. So it depends on how you want this to look. We use the same technique we use on this one. So 45 degrees and 7 elements. Then left click and right click. We use the center, right, again, as the at the midpoint. Okay. So visually, we've come up with a gazebo. Okay. In using the hatch, using the center dot here, which you're probably going to want to use that more and more if you haven't been using it at all. And it has a wonderful application. And then you can also take this and move it. And then let me show you another application. So any questions on that one? There's another application. Say, for instance, let's take go to the rocks library. There's this 4-foot natural stone step. I'm going to move that over right like that. Okay? And then let's take a piece of random flagstone and use it right there. And then we'll take let's use a 12 by 18. What I'm going to do is take and put another one of these on here. Well, that didn't work out quite as well as I wanted. So let's go ahead and reduce a little bit. There we go. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to use this rotate tool again. Okay, and we're going to build some walkways. I'm going to take this rotate tool. I'm going to take each one of these elements and create a walkway out of it. Okay, so we'll take this one first. Say we wanted to have 15 of these natural stone steps, and I'm just going to come up with an angle here. Say I'm going to use 4 degrees. I'm going to left click and right click. And what it does is it creates this curvilinear layout of these walkway pieces. Okay, so that would be like a 4-degree angle. If I wanted it turning the other way, I'd probably put a minus 4 degrees in. Okay, and then go from here and take it and turn it the other way. It depends on what you want this to look like and whatnot, but it's kind of like an S curve here. There's another way you can do this. So again, we can take these 2 pieces, right? And you can only take one piece at a time. So what we'll do is take and make this into a subgroup. So basically, we'll want to have. I want this to be the point of origin. Yeah. And then what we'll do is take and do the same thing here. So we can take this and say we want 12 of these and 6 degrees. Left click and right click, and you see what happens. You can make these come out and bend a little bit, bend a lot. Right? If I wanted them to turn the other way, and I can go to a minus 6. And I can make them actually closer together, too. Right? So maybe, say I wanted to have 18 of them. Right? I want them closer together this time. Okay. So again, you got the same sort of environment where there's like an S curve. Okay. So you can change the look of this by varying the angle and the count, right? So here, let's put a 20, and let's put a 2 degrees. Okay. So basically, what we're going to do is come out. You know, we've got quite a few of these. Actually, I'm going to take that down to say 12. And I'm going to bend this angle more. So I want 10 degrees here. So I really want to bend this. Right? So the greater the angle, the more arc you're going to be creating. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take and create my own fire ring. Okay, so I basically got this piece that has well, let's use this 12 again. Okay, and so we're going to take this. We're going to take 360 and divide it by 12, and I got 30 degrees. So I right-click, and now I've got this fire ring. Okay, basically using the same elements. And you can do this using this particular tool, right? And you can take and, I mean, you can go as far as you need to with this, turn your copy on and do a couple extra pieces here somewhere. Kind of gives you some random effect or whatever. Yeah, I don't like that one, but and then you can keep going, right? You can take one of these and do that again. So we got 10 degrees, and we got 10 pieces, and this one, and we're going to come out and continue the walkway. Maybe we'll go minus 10 degrees this time. So you continue working in this environment, and it's again, it's really interesting what you can do. You can actually create while you're working, and there's no limit to your use of either angles or numbers here. Okay, with respect to the tool itself, you can create new elements, right, using the subgroup, or you can take groups of things. Like you can take a set of 2 or 3 or 4 of these pavers here, and group them together, and then rotate the group. Okay. So a lot of possibilities. So you don't necessarily have to draw a line and then offset along the line, okay? Unless you needed to know exactly how far apart these stepping stones were. Okay, so that would be the use of this tool, right? Or there's another tool that allows you to create an offset and using figures, right, without actually drawing the line first. Okay. Any questions about this?
No, no questions.
Yep. No, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. You ever used that before? No? Yes?
I have not.
You have? Okay.
No, I have not.
Oh, okay, good. So hopefully that add that to your repertoire of tools, and especially if you like curvilinear, you like informal type of things. Yeah, it's really quite amazing what you can do, and you can do it with any of the figures. So, for instance, let's say we go to well, where are my trees? Rocks, shrubs. Okay, trees. Been rearranging these things so much, doing the advanced classes. Now we can do this, and we can use the same thing again. So let's say we got 25 trees, and we can do a 3.5 degree angle, and we'll come out and go around this way. It's going to be way out there, so let's say 12, too many. You can change these characteristics, so you can take this and bring them up here. Okay, depending upon how much room and whatnot. So inside of polygons, using the inside polygon to create a, for instance, a gazebo, and then using the rotate tools to accommodate these elements that might be out there and around it. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do this. Following on the same theme, right, you could do like a hideaway out here, right, with your like you just go to shrubs and start it right here, and you would say, well, you know, what we'll do is we'll use the same tool, and 15, and then if you do it this in your head, you actually use a calculator here, so you can divide 360 by 15, 24 degrees, and create this look. Right, just take one of these out, and you can move these around, whatever. And you can continue to use that tool. You might have a situation where, say, for instance, you got to this point. Say you're here, and you wanted to create a more formal. Maybe you actually what you wanted to do is take and use this side of the edge of the gazebo, right, and create a formal pattern. Okay, a formal pattern is really easy to do with the Cartesian array tool. Let's see, where's advanced? There we go. So this Cartesian array allows you to construct an array of things in a formal. So again, from basically using tools that allow you to facilitate an informal look, like this tool might do, this one's going to take and give you a real formal look. So a lot of mirror image, very formal looking arrangements. So let's take a look and see how that might work with let's take and do a 2x2. Okay, so that's a 2x2 piece of flag, and we're going to use the array tool. Right? And what we want to do is build an X column horizontally of 12 pieces, and then a Y column vertically of 8 pieces. Okay, and then what we'll do is take, and I want to space these so that in between there's a space. So if they're 2 feet, and I have the next one at 2 feet, and I want, say, a 4-inch space between them, then what I'm going to do is put 24 plus 4 would be 28 inches on center. Okay, so 2'4" on center, and then all I do is left click and then right click. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is take and I'm going to move these. Okay? So here's the center, right? And actually I can take, if I want to, and just put a little piece of line in here, which basically is going to be the center, and I can use the center of that line if I need to be really, really, really exact. And then I'm going to use my move tool and not copy. Take these and move them from this point over to the midpoint of the side. Okay, so let's see, where's the midpoint? Left click right there. I probably want to move them out away from the edge, 4 to 6 inches or whatever. And then what I can do is take and then use this to form any type of more formal arrangement that I want. Say, for instance, I want to take these and delete these. Okay. So these are going to be out of there. And then I want to take these and, again, take them out. And I can use this to create another space out here. So left click, left click, left click, left click, and left, left. Okay, and you can see what's happening here, because you can actually take this now and do any type of formal work you want by including or excluding different spaces, right? And then come in and I'm going to move my trees library over to the top. And you can set these along lines and whatnot too. You can see, and then you can come in and use the mirror tool. Right? So I can take these and mirror these shrubs to the other side. And again, using this midpoint, right, I can take and just mirror these over to the other side, just turn my constraints on. Oops, I didn't mean to have my copy on, so let's do that again. Okay, and then you can just kind of keep on going. It's really interesting, the different opportunity using first maybe an array tool, right? And then using the mirror tool. So both of those are really helpful when you're creating very elaborate formal designs. Right? Any questions?
No questions.
Yeah.
I have maybe one. So, say for example, I do a lot of driveway accents, where I'll actually have an angle, an arc. So essentially, I'm just accenting the one side of the driveway, and so I have an arc for example, that starts at 5 feet at the road, comes into maybe 3 feet in the middle of the driveway, and then goes out on either side. And on the left, it goes into just accenting the top of the driveway, and then to the right, it goes into a walkway going to the entrance. And I want that angle to be exactly the same on left and right. Now, I noticed you put that little line to find your center point. I wonder if I can do that same thing to
Most certainly. Yeah. If you take and consider using the midpoint of the bottom side of the driveway, right? If you're looking at mirror images from left to right, then look at the lines that form the top and bottom of the driveway, and use those for your mirror start points. Because basically you're talking about the same thing, I think, where you want to duplicate one side to the other.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really, again,
I guess it's where I take my point to mirror.
Yeah, it's where you choose your point to mirror, and that's exactly why I choose this little. Actually, I could have used this the center line of this part of the gazebo, but I didn't know when I first created that I was going to use that right here. Actually, I would have moved it out a little bit, so I put this in. So, knowing that I was going to mirror down the road, I put this little line in so that I could use that midpoint. So just think about that in the future, where if you know that you're going to be doing something in a particular environment, you can plan ahead and put points that will allow you to select places that will be helpful to you. And then if you wanted to, I mean, you could take this too, and let me see. I always enjoy working with guys like you, because I can challenge myself too. Okay, so with the mirror concept in mind, I can take well, it's not going to work perfectly, but I can take and basically just take it. Say I wanted to have a gravel divider between these, right? Then what I would do is actually just create, say, I'll just do a little piece so you can actually see what's happening here. I'm going to create just a space here. Oh, it doesn't matter how wide that line is, but I wouldn't use this particular layer, obviously. I can fill these, right, and then mirror image them over to this side and to this side, or vice versa. I can do this one and mirror it over to this side, right? Let's see real quick. So conceptually, you could do it this way. I want to beat on the rock layer this time. Actually, I need to explode these. So without exploding all of them, right, which you already know the consequences of doing that. So I'm just going to explode one of them here, and then left click. Let's see. Okay, so maybe that wasn't such a good idea, because it's wider than the other lines, which is not a good idea. So I'm going to take this down a little bit. And there are other easier ways of doing this, and just mirroring this, right? and then doing one over here and just mirroring them back and forth using the midpoints of these sides. It's actually kind of fun. What happens when your engines find something you don't want? There we go. Anyway. Or you can take and then just close this and then explode them all and do the close it, click the outside and then deselect everything on the inside. It'll hatch all those. Especially where your areas right here where you have maybe mulch or there's going to be a area where there's benches or whatever. Okay. Let's take a look, and there's another tool in here in the advanced toolbox. Okay, and it's offset figures along a virtual line, which over here in the edit toolbox, this one allows you to offset figures along an existing line. Okay, so this allows you to do this without drawing the line first. So let's see how we might do that. Let's say here's a shrub, and let's do another tree here. Well, actually, we'll use one of these trees. Okay. So the way this tool works, it works exactly the way the other one does. So this is a 3-foot chop, so the offset's going to be here for 2 feet 9 on center. And so I'm going to click this shrub, that's the figure, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a polyline, a virtual polyline. Okay, and so I'm going to choose a closed one, clockwise bulge, start angle. All of these features are exactly the same as the ones you find in the polyline tool. So I want to start here, and I want to go in this direction. Let me see. So yeah, this direction, right? So I'm going to start here at the midpoint, and then I'm going to go this way, and smooth, actually, is what I want to do. Not close first. And then auto bulge. So, and then deselect smooth. So I'm actually doing a combination of, I mean, close, not close, but smooth. And then I just do something like this, right? Do it in the back. And then I can switch over here to straight again. And then left click, and then when I right click, it puts all those in there according to the virtual line. Okay, so if you don't want to go ahead and do a line first, right, and then offset, you pretty much know the direction and the context of what you want to do with your virtual line. This allows you to take the next step and not have to draw the line first. Do that also with trees, right? So the tree would probably be a 9-foot offset. And take this one and, whoops, and I go this way with it. Okay, should have one more a little bit further. Anyway, you get the idea. Using this offset figures along a polyline, a virtual polyline. Okay, same as the other one in the edit toolbox, except this one is just a virtual line. The advantage is that this one has the start angle polyline tool associated with it that allows you to be as creative as you want to. Any questions about using the mirror tool, offsetting entities? You all know how to use the cumulative measuring tools here? Cumulative perimeter, cumulative area?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've used it here a lot.
Okay. Well, let's go back and check on something. Let me see. Advanced. So that basically carries us through the advanced toolbox. These two we're going to do in advanced customizing. Going to create libraries and custom figures. Insert points. The other one is the break line in the edit toolbox. And let's do a real quick review of that one. So we have a couple of lines here. 25 feet long. And what we want to do is actually break them. Okay. A lot of situations where you just want to find points, but occasionally, in fact, I actually used to break them rather than finding points. So this tool, this break tool, and you can bring it out and take a look at it. This one actually is breaking at a closest intersection. So if you don't have any intersection, right, then you're not going to get things to break. But say we have these two, right, and we want to break these at this intersection. So left click, right click. Now I have just two lines. We can do both of those at the same time. So left click and right click. So you can actually take and break them all at this one point. Okay. You can break a line at a point that you pick. So I can take this one and say I want to break this line right, say right here. Okay, now I have a couple of pieces of line. You can break them at a corner. That's basically what this was. Break them at a corner. You can break lines between selected lines. Okay, much like the trim where you select the lines to break. This is the same option, same situation. Breaking a line to the intersection of another line. And then breaking a line into an n number of equal segments. So say I want to have this broken into 10 segments. So each one of those would be 2.5 feet long. So now we have the individual segments. Let me just go a little quicker. So I like to just select them first. Whoops, sorry about that. Select them and then right-click, right? Basically taking you out of the selection tool, and you can see where the breaks are here. And then you can break in lines by incremental distance. Say I wanted to have one that was a 1 foot break. So left click, right click. Now I got 1 foot breaks, at that point. I can continue to do that for a 1 foot break. Et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, this one actually allows you to take and break at a specific length. Okay, so say this one I wanted to break over here, say a 3-inch. So I'll take and break 3 inches off the end over here. Right. So this would be the 3-inch part, this would be the 9-inch part out of that foot. Okay, so break lines, that one's a pretty good one. And let's see, advanced tools, edit tools. I think you all have been introduced now to all of these. Same thing here in the draw toolbox. Oh, one. Actually, there's one that's I haven't looked at yet. So these are the tools that are nested tools underneath the hatch tools. Okay, and this one actually is a solid fill. When considering using solid fills, you might want to consider, let me give you an example here. Okay, so these are relatively small spaces. So I can actually take and fill this. If I click inside, right, and then just right-click, it fills it with a solid fill. I can take and use this one, say I wanted to have this one in that one, but not in that one, and fill that with a solid fill. Okay, so relatively speaking, these are fairly small. It's 8.5 by 11. I think it's a 1/4 inch. So what you want to do is 1/8 inch actually. You want to keep these to a minimum. Or if you're using solid fills, make sure it's a very simple shape that you're using. Okay, they're very intense. They add a lot of file width to your file and make them very large files pretty easily. I had a student that took my advanced customizing, and so I showed them how to do their own logo, right? So she sent me this file, and she's like, Dwayne, I'm having the hardest time with this file. I said, well, you know, what you send it to me? And she sent it to me. It was just the most beautiful work of creating a logo that I've ever seen. And but you know, it's just not working. And so I took one look at it, and her logo, the only thing on her drawing was a logo, and it was 9 megabytes. Okay, and it was because she had used all these solid fills. And so I said, you know, so what you're going to want to do is go back and consider the fact that these solid fills really add up in terms of the size of your file. So what we did was, so we went back and we said, you know, let's take a look and see how we could do this on a more, sort of a more reasonable basis so that you can actually use this logo. Because she couldn't copy it and paste it, she couldn't resize it, rescale it, whatever. It was just, the file size was just horrendous. So to just intensify the hatch pattern. Okay. So for instance, on this one, instead of taking and using something at a scale of 0.5, which if you did that, this is what that would look like. Okay. Say going down to 0.1. Okay. And this is what it's going to look like at 0.1. But what happens is when you go back and look at this, okay, from the standpoint of printing a drawing and looking at it, that's basically the equivalent of a solid hatch. Okay, except this is 1/100th the file size of a solid hatch. Okay, so while you do have the solid hatch, you can use that. If you want to do that, just use it sparingly, so to speak, in a drawing, then that certainly is available. But consider, for the most part, doing a hatch, even a real intense hatch like this, is much, much smaller than a solid fill. Okay, think in terms of that solid fill as being thousands and thousands of pieces of line that fill this space. Okay, and that's the result of that. You can also take and use a hatch pattern on a layer if it's a thicker line. Okay, so if you take this and I don't know if this actually I'm going to be able to do this. Put that on the drive road layer, right, and then zoom back, because that's a thicker line layer. Okay, and it'll actually fill it up a lot easier. And this was just insert an image tool. It's kind of a leftover from the earlier version of DynaSCAPE. So, I mean, you can still use it here. Right? Insert a raster image rather than going over to your image folder over here and clicking on this one. Right? You just go directly to this tool here. Okay, so that's kind of all the tools there in the draw toolbox. Any questions about anything? That's pretty much what I wanted to review with you. Oh, a couple more things. Well, actually, one more thing. And I just noticed that I haven't put this on my schedule, and so I have a lot of written stuff over here that I review that is not in the reference guide. One of them is the overview panel. Let me give you an example of. Well, this is not a great example. Let me open a drawing real quick here. And you might be thinking about questions you might have, so that again, you can use this as a as your own personal time with me. Okay, so in the tools option, there's an overview panel here, and the overview panel lets you know where you are in the drawing. So if you're subject to going back and forth inside your drawing, right? Especially when you have a large drawing like this. So 24 by 36, pretty detailed, and you're going back and forth and whatnot. So you can actually use this overview panel as a scroll tool, right? And a zoom tool. So to zoom up here to say, well, maybe down to this pool here, all I have to do is just draw a little window up here in the overview panel. It takes me right to the pool area. Okay, if I want to zoom back up to this detail up in the corner, I just draw a little window up here, right? Or maybe down here. And the size of the window will give you the amount of information you see, and the location obviously is pretty easy to select. So maneuverability in a large drawing is facilitated by having this overview panel here. Okay, and then just all you have to do is just draw a new window in there, and then you go directly to the spot that you need, right? Rather than zooming out and then zooming back in again. Okay, you can also use your zoom tool, right? As a scroll tool. So hold the shift key down, and then you move your mouse so it zooms you out, right? Or zooms you in, as the case may be. But again, I don't think that's even quite as easy as just drawing a little window up here. Okay.
Where do you find that at again?
It's under Tools and Hide or Show Overview Panel. Most people don't know about it or have been unaware of its existence there. Okay. What do you think?
It's helpful, very helpful.
Yeah, did you learn something today? Hopefully I'm able to, what I want to do is make sure that you can draw faster, which I think the majority of what I showed you today was not only just new tools that allow you to do things that you may not have considered doing either in that fashion or with those tools, but also giving you some speed along the way and allowing you to see with it, what you want to do is you want to make money, and to make money you have to be able to draw just about as fast as you can think. Okay, I know that takes a lot of skill, but what you want is these tools to be second nature to you. Right? Once you know they're there, and the more you use them, the more you're automatically going to use them, and that allows you to draw about as fast as you can design.
Yeah, so I find that there's a lot of different tools there, and I used another competing software for 9 years, and even in my 9th year, I was finding things that I go, oh, God, I didn't know you could do this, or
well,
there's so many ways to skin a cat, and you can still get your work done. It's just that there's sometimes better ways or faster ways of doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and you tend to say, okay, well, I can do this, right? But then you don't know that if it takes you an hour to do something, you don't know that you can probably take 10 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
Or if it took 10 minutes, then you maybe could do it in 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that's where you become more productive, and so you can justify $150 an hour really easily.
Mm-hmm. And even having somebody to bounce off, because I found that I've learned more spending an hour with a colleague than muddling through by myself or going through. And then the other thing is you tend to get familiar with tools and use the same tools time and time again. And even when I learn new tools, because this is my second course, and even with the first course I learned a few things, and then I caught myself not using the tools that I was already taught, because you just fall into that trap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
Not just learning them, but actually adopting them, and is half the challenge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing to do would be to go ahead and just practice for these tools, right? Mm-hmm. And go through the manual, the training manual, the guide, and refresh your memory, right? And then so that when you want to do something that you've got a tool that will do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, especially some of the more detailed tools and
Yeah, and the other software that I used, I used to use everything. I used to do everything by looking at what I was doing. And so, for example, the coordinate tracking panel window is because essentially, if I was drawing especially a formal design or a square design, I just take my mouse and I click, and then I go out 5 feet, click down 6 feet, click. You know, as opposed to putting the distance in it. Right. And the other thing is it would snap to a foot each time, so it was a lot easier. But in this one here, I can still use the coordinate tracking panel, but I've got to be a lot more accurate with my mouse when it comes to.
Yeah, right. And you know, you can, you know, as you said that, you know, you can set those axes and grids.
Yes.
So if you want to, and the snap too, also.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It'd be nice to set the snap without the grid, because I find, like, I tried to get the grid, and I think I mentioned that to you in the last course. I tried to get the grid to show the way I want it to show, but it just gets too busy. It seems to be in the way. Like, I can't seem to get the grid to play a background role as opposed to being, you know.
Yeah. Did you try and use the snap without turning the grid and axis on?
No, I never did. No.
Yeah, you might try that.
Yeah.
I tend to not use that, but I know that people that have sort of grown up, so to speak, using those tools. So you might try this. Just turn the snap on, set it to 1 foot or whatever it is that you're looking for, and you may be able to use it without the grid and the axis.
Yeah. Especially if I'm using the coordinate tracking panel.
Yeah, and using the coordinate tracking panel. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be nice to have these as you know, and I constantly make, you know, suggestions and stuff. But it'd be nice to be able, like that, turn snap on and off, and have that as a button somewhere. You know,
yeah.
Oh, turn it off, and then do what I want to do, and then turn it on. Just kind of like, although I would imagine if you can make that into a button and put it in a toolbar somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah, you might look. I'm not sure. I haven't looked this up in the manual.
Yeah.
There may be a keystroke for this.
Yeah.
Or actually, you can make your own keystroke.
Yeah, using the.
Using the command alias.
Command alias, yeah.
And then down here in the command, so the command to turn this on is select snap on.
Yeah.
And you can create your own alias to do that.
Yeah. I'd have to look at the manual. I forget how to do that offhand.
Yeah, and the customizing, I show you how to create command aliases.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good. Well, anything else that comes to mind? No?
Guess I'll see you in the other advanced.
I guess we'll see you again sometime, yeah. So, yeah, let's, you know, you're welcome to come back, and that's the last one, actually, although I'm thinking maybe we need one more, and one more advanced class after that. And so anyway, it's going to be a while before that gets here. But the customizing is really a very fun type of work, and just creating your own prototype. That alone, I think, is worth the whole session. So when you pull up a prototype drawing, it's exactly the way you want it. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to add, subtract. It's got your layers and basically everything you need.
Oh, so the prototype will actually change, because I created some drawings where I know my scale and my you know, the bars on the side and stuff like that. But will it actually hold? One prototype will actually keep layers and stuff the way I want them, or?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So
everything that's modifiable.
Yeah.
It has a default. Like when you open a prototype, if you don't want copy on, it'll be off. You don't want constraints on, it'll be off. Inference, etc.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can set all your global text settings up, all the changes you want in your layer system. You can, if you've got 10 extra layers that you use all the time, then your prototype will have those in them. Yeah.
Very cool. I guess that's
very cool.
Of course, then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fellows, have a good weekend, and we'll maybe see you again sometime.
I'm sure you will. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You've got the one course next week is on Thursday now, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Okay, take care.
And which one was that, Dwayne?
It's the advanced customizing.
Oh, that is next week, is it?
Yeah, it had been scheduled on Tuesday, and I'm going to be in Denver the first part of the week, so we had to reschedule it to Thursday.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually heading to Montreal on a Permacon tour on Thursday, so it's not going to work.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, this is probably going to be the one the next month, too, so.
Oh, yeah. Were you able to record the intermediate session? Remember we talked about
actually, I did. I just recorded the one I did on Tuesday.
Oh, okay, cool. Is it possible to send that out to me somehow, or?
Actually, yeah. Why don't you send me a note, and I will record it on a CD and send it to you.
Awesome. Because what I did is I found a little software package that allows me to record the webinars there. So I've been doing that.
Okay.
I took 3 or 4 webinars this winter that were really, really helpful. And a lot of them are free as well, like cast lighting and things like that. So
good, yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thanks again.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yep, take care.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.